Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Thomas was previously in court, entered pleas of guilty, cause number 24, DCCR 0389 to the third-degree felony offense of prohibited weapon. Cause number 24, DCCR 0390, also a third-degree felony of possession of a prohibited weapon. Cause number 24, DCCR 0391, pled guilty to the state jail felony offense of theft of a firearm. Cause number 24, DCCR 0392, pled guilty to the lesser offense of indecency with a child by exposure, also a third-degree felony. There was no plea agreement. I have received and reviewed the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
State has.
In addition, there is also the largest packet I've ever received of jail incident reports in a case. Did everyone have an opportunity to review those?
4 separate felony charge, including indecency with a child and firearm theft and no plea deal, that's rare. This judge is walking into sentencing with full discretion, and it's about to get intense.
Yes, I took an evening and
35 pages.
I reviewed them one evening.
State reviewed all 35 pages of the
In addition, the state has filed a state sentencing memorandum. Mr. Burbank, did you receive that, and were you able to review it? Okay. Anything else, any objections or corrections or additions to the report?
No, Judge.
All right, Mr. Burbank, you may proceed.
Your Honor, this is a very young kid that in a very short period of time stepped off the cliff and got himself in a lot of trouble. I will represent to the court when I was engaged by his family. One of my issues was the recovery of the weapons because they were law enforcement weapons. I will represent to the court that almost immediately, mysteriously, weapons ended up in my office in the front hallway and were returned to the sheriff's department. And I'd like the court to take notice that those weapons are off the street and back into the department.
Could you speak up a little bit, please?
Oh, back into the department.
Right there, did he just say? The weapons magically showed up in his office hallway? Sounds like something out of a crime drama, not a courtroom. But hey, at least they're off the streets. Barely.
We go open because I do not have a recommendation. You can place him on probation for a period of 10 years and see what he does. These are third-degree felonies that you can do. At the very least, and state jail judge, I believe, the theft of the firearm. You could put him in a state jail for a period of time and put him on probation for the other one. I would ask that if you are going to send him to the penitentiary, that maybe in reference to the sexual offense, that you do place him on probation so that you can have some accountability for him once he got out for a period of time. That would give the court maybe whether or not he's learned his lesson. Now, as you peruse through the 35 pages of incident reports, and I'm not trying to be funny, because I've talked at length with Mr. Thomas about those, and he'd like to address the court on those. It is what it is, and that's not behavior of whether or not he would be able to follow.
The defense argues this young man just made young and dumb choices, but the judge isn't buying it. Question for you all. Do you think youth excuses repeated, dangerous behavior? Drop your take in the comments.
The court's orders, if you can't follow what's going on in jail for a period of time, in reference to probation, I would ask that the court would ask Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, go ahead. You have something to say?
You don't have to say that. I could just say it's just young, dumb, just being in jail at a young age and not really knowing. I got write-ups.
Yeah, but once you get several write-ups, the whole point of growing up is to learn from your mistakes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So if you keep getting write-ups, then you can't just say I'm young and dumb. so I keep getting write-ups. I don't disagree that you're young and dumb, but this is ridiculous. Like, I mean, I know our jail cannot wait for you to get out. Cannot wait. Mr. Coleman?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll be brief since I put everything, I made the state's position clear in our sentencing memorandum. I'd like to briefly shift the focus from the write-ups to the underlying facts in the state's which
Yeah.
I believe are
Stealing out of cop cars.
stealing from patrol vehicles, at least 2 patrol units, Your Honor. Detective Matt Dixon is here if you want to hear more details of the detective. But Your Honor, I think the audacity, the boldness to steal these weapons from a police car goes to show what exactly the nature of this defendant is and what we're dealing with here. And even more than that, Judge, it appears from the underlying facts that the defendant may be implicated in a series of other car burglaries. We've got a Glock switch that converted one of those weapons into a fully automatic weapon. He was conspiring with another juvenile, a 16-year-old, to steal the weapons, which a photograph is attached to my sentencing memorandum if you've seen it. This was nothing less than an arsenal that these kids...
This part is chilling fully automatic weapons stolen from cop cars, photos, conspiracies with other minors. This isn't juvenile mischief. This is borderline militia-level activity.
Madness, Judge. I shudder to think what could have become of these weapons if they would end up in the hands of other criminals, if they could have been used against law enforcement, Your Honor. Long gone are the days where there's a low caliber Saturday night special that these kids use, you know, in some type of a crime. They are loaded for bear with fully automatic weapons. I'd ask the court to make an example out of this defendant. He benefits from not having a criminal history to speak of, but Your Honor, this is beyond the pale. I'd ask you to send him, do 2 things, a split sentence in this case. Sentence him to prison for what he's done, and then following that, a consecutive probation period so that we can continue to monitor him and supervise him after he's released from prison. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, I wanted to make sure, Mr. Coleman, I've done this type of sentencing that you're asking for on some different cases. I think the probation period, if I sentence him to probation today, I don't know that I can make that consecutive. So I think
I believe you can, Judge, and if you need to recess this proceeding, I can get you case law in pretty short order. I think you can.
Because when would it start?
It will start after he finishes his period of incarceration.
Okay. So whatever I give him, if I do prison, and then I say it's consecutive with a probation, and does it matter if it's a straight or a...
I don't believe so either, Judge. But again, I'm happy to get you some case.
No, I appreciate the idea. Again, we've done it sometimes. I mean... What are y'all doing? What are you doing with all these?
In Texas, a judge
Not
can
shooting
sacrifice.
Sir?
Not shooting people.
Not shooting people yet. What are you shooting? Why would you have these? What are you getting these to shoot at? Just to be tough and say you have guns? That's all that's happening with these guns on the street is y'all are shooting at each other, at other people, at houses, at cars, at whatever. There's no reason to have these kind of guns. These aren't hunting guns, right? You're not going to shoot a deer. Do you hunt?
I do.
Do
I
you?
have before, but
Have you?
yes,
Which one of these is your hunting gun?
none of those.
You thought you were pretty bad breaking into a cop's car, didn't you? That is some nerve. I mean, seriously, you're the second person I've had in 11 years that has had the nerve to do that. Here's what I'm going to do, because I agree with Mr. Coleman. I would like, at least in the indecency case, to get treatment and probation on that case so that we know you're not going to go make that type of bad decision again. But I'm not giving you probation on everything. You're going to you want to change your life and do better and not be young and dumb, you're going to have some time to figure that out. So in cause number 24, DCCR 0389, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of possession of a prohibited weapon. Mr.
And here comes the hammer, multiple 7-year prison sentences, plus 10 years probation stacked after incarceration. That's not just punishment tits. A blueprint for forced rehabilitation. The judge isn't letting him off easy.
Coleman actually asked me to sentence you to 5 years. I don't think that's enough. I'm going to sentence you in that case to 7 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You'll receive credit on that sentence for any time you've been in custody. And part of the reason I made it lengthier is because you have been in custody so long, and a 5-year sentence really isn't going to amount to much. Cause number 24, DCCR 0390, also finds sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time finds you guilty of possession of a prohibited weapon. Sentence you to a term of 7 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will also receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 24, DCCR 0391, finds sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time finds you guilty of the state jail felony offense of theft of a firearm. Sentence you to a term of 2 years in the state jail prison. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. Then in cause number 24, DCCR 0392, finds sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, in that case, I'm going to defer all proceedings, place you on probation. No, that's the third. I'm going to find you guilty of that offense, sentence you to a term of 10 years in the institutional division, but I'm going to suspend that and place you on probation for 10 years.
Can I address the court on that?
Mm-hmm.
With a deferred, though, with the registration, it would, if he did comply after he got out, that he may have a chance instead of a conviction.
He's already got 3 convictions.
Well, I
A fourth.
understand that, but a sexual kind of.
May I respond, Judge? That is to a reduced charge.
I agree.
I might point that out.
Can I give a straight on indecency though? Hold on. I think it has to be deferred. Hold on. Yeah, it has to be deferred. Okay, so I'm going to go back in that cause number, which ends in 0392. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to defer all proceedings, and I'm going to place you on probation for 10 years. That will run consecutively to the other cases. So that probation does not start until you get out of prison. Then, if you violate that probation, you could be sentenced up to 10 years in that case. So you're going to be under supervision or in custody for a very long time.
And just when you thought it was over, boom, he's also banned from ever owning a firearm again under Texas law. This isn't just a sentence. It's a permanent shift in this young man's legal identity.
So if you really want to change your ways, you're going to have every opportunity to do that. If you don't, you're going to end up, number one, you're probably not going to make parole if you keep acting like you've been acting here. If you get to prison and you act like this, you're not going to make your parole. You're going to do that whole 7 years. That's going to be up to you.